It's podcast time. Woo!
The weirdest start I think we've had so far.
Oh, I can make this weirder.
We can start singing.
I could try. I'm not going to though because that takes effort.
Just because of the weather lately, I want to call it the Raincast.
The Raincast.
Yeah. Rain. Lots
right.
of it.
Whatever.
Anyway.
So welcome to the podcast episode. I forgot what number it is. 5 isn't you're giving me a 5 with your hands.
I don't know if he's giving you a 5 or he's just waving.
It's I had my hand up and I was like, is it 4 or 5? So it's kind of in this in between.
So welcome to the podcast episode. I'll just cut in the number here. And today we're going to talk about basically having a discussion on what is and is not a fair thing to do in competition, I guess you could say. You know, whenever somebody comes up with a tactic that's just like, man, that's really dirty,
cheap, or
some cheap or cheesy tactic that just works.
Yeah.
Like, is it, where's the line between that being okay? No, that's just dirty. That's just not even fair. That's unsportsmanlike versus, oh, that's really smart. I'm going to do that too.
And this isn't limiting to us. In ours, it's either video games or tabletop gaming, but there's also sports in general.
Yeah, that's not true because we watched sports a lot. We did play sports actually.
Well, y'all played sports.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, this is in competition in general. So that's basically what we're going to be talking about today. Like always, before we get to that topic, we want to talk a little bit about stuff that's been going on with us lately. So if you want to skip straight to that topic, take a look in the description, and you can see where that topic starts right away.
We're not doing introductions this week?
Huh?
We're not doing introductions this week?
No, nobody cares about that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Nobody cares about that.
Okay.
So it's an introduction to everyone that's here on the podcast. So, if you've listened to the past ones, it's pretty much the same group. But if you're new, let's kind of go around the semicircle that we're sitting in and introduce yourselves.
I would call it like the lazy L that we're sitting in.
I think it's a J.
J.
It's like a comma. That's
do you want me to go first?
I don't care. I'm looking at you.
My name's Philip. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's me. I mean, do you really want to? I mean, we just go right to what we've been doing for the last 2 weeks.
Well, no, just go around real quick. Kind of just say your name so that they can familiarize the voice with the name.
My name's Philip. You'll probably hear me be called Phil, Flip, a bunch of other stuff because they like to call me other names.
It's 2 syllables is a lot, so I like to truncate.
It's a lot for you, John.
It's a lot of effort.
I do stuffs. Yeah.
You're back from the last time. Noe here, back from last time. I'm also known as, hey, dumbass, what are you doing?
And the booming voice that's on the podcast that I cannot reduce for anything.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. Fun fact about the way the mic is set up, he's sitting in the dead spot for the mic, and he's still probably like the loudest.
Yeah, I'm probably still the loudest person on the freaking...
He's definitely the loudest, although since you're sitting in the best spot, Philip, you actually do sound the best, but whatever.
Yeah, you actually, like in the podcast, you have the best quality.
You have the best quality sound, but he's still way louder than everyone.
I'm really soft-spoken, so
it's kind of necessary.
I'm pretty much right on top of the mic. So.
Nah, you're just in the best part for that mic. We need a new mic. My name's John. This is my mic. It's bad. I need a new one. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, welcome in. So...
Alright, so what did we do recently, guys?
I don't know. You're talking. Let's go. Go first.
Oh. Yeah, you get to go first this time.
Okay, so if you've heard me talk, I guess the last 2 episodes, maybe?
Let me guess. Persona 5.
It was Persona 5. I finally beat it. I beat it about a week ago. That game is really, really good, but I've already said that a lot. Let me just go with... Stop!
I'm proud of you.
Why are you proud of me? Because I beat a game?
Yeah, because
it's the 8th game I beat this year. It's not a problem beating games.
You've gotten over your addiction. I'm proud of you.
It's not an addiction. That was me trying to beat the game.
Okay, let's go with that. We'll go with that.
He finally found sunlight, too. He walked out this door. It's like, where am I?
I was on the lake for
What year is this? Jumanji style.
That game's really good. Everything about it is good, except for a couple things. mostly the characters are better than the story. If you ask me, it's kind of predictable, but it's also just really good, so I can accept that.
I've been listening to the soundtrack. I don't even own the game.
It looks amazing. It plays really, really good. It sounds really, really good. Everything else about that game is fantastic. My only problem is that it's a little bit predictable, but yeah, it's fine because I enjoyed the entire experience. Very easy Game of the Year contender. So once I beat Persona, I pretty much jumped straight back into Overwatch because we're coming up on the anniversary for that. There is an event that starts up soon. Actually, it will have already started by the time this podcast goes up.
That's true.
Yep.
So I've been playing a lot of that. I did attempt to start a new game, which was Last Guardian, and then I decided that I needed to take a little break from that and started spending more time on other medium. I was going to go back to Saga and Monstrous. I haven't done that quite yet because I started watching anime again. Thanks a lot, Persona. You freaking ruined my life again.
Hey, anime's okay as long as it's not.
I trucked through Erased like really, really quickly.
Oh, really?
On Mother's Day weekend. On Mother's Day weekend of all times.
Oh God, why? You like it?
Oh, that's really, really good. I have some nitpicks about it as well, but
have you seen Erased?
It's really good.
I have not.
It's 12 episodes. Watch it.
It's good.
It's very good.
You should watch that. Started a couple other ones just to kind of feel it out, and they're alright. I don't know if I'll continue any of them, but basically that's it. Except I also started playing Zelda again because of the language patch, and I watched the scenes in Japanese, and I was like, I want to start playing this again. So I did create a new my Switch is actually on, the TV is on, and you can see that I created a new profile, which I did restart the game, but decided after like an hour that I just didn't want to go through the entire game new. I just wanted to continue playing on my current file. So I've been playing that for a little while also. But that's pretty much all I've been doing that I can remember. There's probably other stuff, but I forgot it.
No movies?
No movies that I can remember. Yeah, the last one I watched was
Guardians?
Your Name and Guardians. I think we talked about Guardians though.
Yeah. So
we talked about Guardians.
Well, we can kind of
talk about Guardians now too, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's what I did.
So for me, I've fully dove into a lot of comics. I finally caught up on pretty much all of Miss Marvel.
It's good.
So good. And
case in point, I read his comics before he read them.
Yeah. That's how far behind I was on my comics, and I was like, you know what? I can't not have you guys read them just because I haven't read them. So brought them to work when I was still there. You guys read them all, so it was pretty great. Picked up Nova, which was I believe the Wells run back in 2014. The volume 1 is so good. Brought me back to my childhood because I'm a huge child of space travel. I want to go to space. I grew up watching Outlaw Star and animes like that.
You should have signed up for that Mars program.
I wanted to. My family refused to let me do it. Straight up refused to let me do it. I really wanted to. I wanted to be the first people, one of the first people to be on Mars. Be like, yeah, I'm a Martian, and then die because we were the first ones there.
Yeah. Jamestown again. Here you go.
Yeah, exactly. But Nova's super good. I have Volume 2 in the car, which the mailman completely bent the fuck out of the spine.
That's fine.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's fine.
It's not.
It's fine. You'll just buy a new one. Let's go.
Anyways, I've done that. I finally watched Iron Fist, and holy crap, is it not great?
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's a show.
It's there. I really hope the Defenders really
tone him down.
Tone him down or something because
just demote him.
Yeah, can we
he's on all the preview and promotional stuff and he just gets dropped after the first episode.
He shows up for 5 minutes an episode and that's him to get Yamcha'd into the ground. I would be okay with that. But I've been doing that. I started watching Luke Cage again with my sister because she hasn't seen it. And God, do I love the soundtrack for Luke Cage.
So good.
It's really good. And then I think I already talked about this. I've been watching My Hero Academia, Konosuba, and
those are the two I was supposed to start. I didn't.
And then I started watching Attack on Titan 2.
Oh,
Season 2.
That's what I forgot to mention. I was about to start Season 2 of Attack on Titan. Now, just for clarification, I've actually read ahead.
Mm-hmm.
After the first season ended, I started reading a little bit of the manga and then just stopped after a certain point. But for the show, let me explain exactly how. Since you started watching it, you'll probably know where this is. I started watching Season 2 of Attack on Titan and stopped as soon as I saw a giant flying whale.
Yeah. Alright. That's fair.
For your information, that's in the opening. I did not start this actual show. I didn't even get through all of the opening.
That's fair.
I was like,
that's
nope,
fair.
this is nope, not happening. I wasn't ready to jump back into anime.
But yeah, you freaking... So you're not okay with that, but you're okay with some dude traveling back in time to, like, when he was 11.
Time travel's cool.
Okay.
Giant flying whales outside of water.
It was a space whale.
Which is redundant because we're flying...
Space whale.
No. That wasn't a space whale.
I know, just...
Anime's weird.
It's very weird. I still need to watch Your Name. I still haven't watched it.
Do it.
I need to watch it. I just watched The Boy and the Beast again.
I haven't watched that one, but I know it's good.
It is so good. And it's so pretty. Like, there are scenes that will just blow your freaking mind on how pretty it is. But other than that, and other than, like, spending more of my nights getting drunk, that's all I've been up to.
That's why there's nothing to mention.
Yeah, that's why there's nothing to mention. I just recently last night watched Logan again for the second time, and I thoroughly enjoy the movie. Other than the ending where she does the thing and
the ending.
It's just
The ending is good. It's the last shot. That's
yeah. Other than that, it's great. I don't know if you guys seen the fan parody that they did, the extra credit for that.
I can only imagine the extra credit.
Not the extra, the end credit.
Okay, you said extra credit, and I was like,
with quotation marks.
Quotation marks.
Okay.
It's somebody did like a post credit thing where Deadpool walks up with the serum, like green serum, and it was just like this is it. This has to happen. It's gonna be you and me. And Deadpool's about to like stick the whole thing into the grave, and he's just like, no, it can't be like this. If I can't have you like you normally were, I can't have you at all. And he gets up and like throws the thing and walks away. We could have been so great together.
It's funny because they were in a movie together. It was a bad movie.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything else?
That's it.
So I have been. Let's see. What have I been up to?
Zelda.
Actually, not as much.
I don't believe you.
I get the keys to the new place Thursday, so literally everything is in boxes.
I believe.
Even my Switch, not my Xbox One, but my Switch is.
The Xbox One, the giant thing that takes up a lot of space, is packed up, but this tiny small thing that doesn't take up a lot of space is packed up.
Yes. Because the Xbox has Netflix and Twitch and all that stuff.
That is a fair statement.
And his Overwatch.
Yeah.
That is also a fair
So
reason.
I've been playing Overwatch a little bit. Mario Kart 8 before. I packed up a Switch about yesterday or the day before. I saw Guardians 2 finally.
Woo! Finally.
It was a good movie.
What?
I don't think it's as good as the first one.
That's fair.
I think I like the first one more. It's still a good movie. I laughed a lot.
Phil, just know you're dead to me.
Yeah. I did like the soundtrack a lot. I think I might have liked the soundtrack more than the first one. I don't know. Both soundtracks are really, really good.
Yeah, they were really good.
Yeah, that surprise factor really helps the first one. So it had a hill to climb, and I feel that it did climb it, but I think everyone's opinion as to which one is better is fully justified because they're both good.
So the ending was really good. I like that. Baby Groot is at some points kind of annoying.
Oh, I hated Baby Groot.
Baby Groot's for the ladies.
I hated Baby Groot as soon as I realized at the end of the first movie that he was going to be a huge marketing thing. I was just like, oh, I hate this guy
I did
already.
like how this one happens very soon after the first one because Baby Groot isn't that.
Yeah, he hasn't grown like at all.
And then in the I don't know if I should spoil that one, but yeah, Drax was amazing. Batista,
good Drax.
He's amazing.
He had like, I swear James Gunn walked up to him and was just like, hey, by the way, you're going to be the comic relief this entire freaking movie. Are you okay with that? And then he just laughed.
Yeah.
And James Gunn was like, cool. He just walked away. It was just so good.
It's a really... I like what they did with that one. I'm excited to see what they do with that group of characters in the future. Really excited. What else have I done? Let's see... Continued watching My Hero Academia.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all mentioned Attack on Titan. I have seen bits and pieces of the first season. I never actually watched it all the way through. So I started that one. I'm on episode 4. Yesterday, at the time of recording this one, Twin Peaks came out. So I watched that first. I think there's 2 episodes. So I watched the first episode. It's just like the first when it came out originally. You have no idea what's going on the entire time. So trippy. So just, I'm probably gonna go watch it again as soon as we're done with this one.
Didn't Alien Covenant come out?
And it's supposed to be really, really, really bad.
Really?
Yeah. People are saying it's not a good movie.
I never would have expected this. This is my shocked face that is being seen.
You're about to get
here on this audio podcast.
He's going to get shoved off this couch right now.
Don't shove me off my couch.
Finished the 3 seasons of How to Get Away with Murder.
Mm-hmm.
So do you now know how to get away with murder?
No.
Oh.
I don't practice law, so I don't know any of those laws. But yeah. I enjoy that show a lot. I think it's really, really good. What else have I done? Packed. Never ending. I think that's it.
Okay.
Quit my old job.
Yeah, you quit your old job because you got a New York.
Yeah.
I got a new job. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I also quit the same job. So.
Yeah, I thought you were joking at first.
No.
But apparently you're telling the truth also.
No.
So I'm the only one that's employed right now.
I'm employed.
You're not working yet.
My first day is next week.
Yeah, but you're not working yet.
I'm on the...
You won't be working as of the time of this podcast or as the time of the posting of this podcast. Ergo, I am the only one working here.
I'm employed. I'm just taking this week off.
That's the most corporate thing I've heard you say.
Technically, I was on the clock at the new job last week. So...
All right, whatever. Anyways.
Oh, yeah. I totally didn't clock out when I left.
Oh, they're going to have fun with that. That's bad.
So,
I'm going to get a big fat check in the mail.
I would hope so.
Pretty much. Yeah, you get paid like John did without even being there.
So... Anything else? Anybody else do something?
I think that's pretty much it. I've probably done more.
Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention is I still play Destiny. And that's a thing.
I did see that you've been playing recently.
Yeah. I started playing Destiny again, and then they did the reveal for 2 as of this recording last Thursday.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and break. We got some time. Let's go ahead and break into a little bit of news here. What you got on Destiny?
So the Destiny 2, they pretty much showed you the opening scenes, opening cinematic for the first mission you are on, and it looks so much better. It looks like Bungie has finally made their next Halo game. Big set pieces, a lot of crazy stuff is happening. Stuff's exploding. You have to fight off an invading army as they're taking down your last base, your last home base that's a safe place. and you have to fight them off while you're getting bombarded. They're attacking the Traveler. They've latched this giant claw onto it to steal its light, so you don't have your powers anymore.
But
that sounds like a Michael Bay movie.
But maybe you know where I'm going with this, but my concern is that they might still have the issue that Destiny 1 had. Destiny 1, everything was great about it except it had no meat. There was no story.
That's the thing. Me and Ruel decided to take a look into like the announcement for 1 and compare it to 2. Vastly different announcements. One of them was the first one was very bare if you really think about it.
Yeah.
And if you watch, if you guys watched it, I don't know if you've seen the second.
The first one's promotion was basically just, that Bungie did this. Come buy it because Bungie.
Yeah, but the second one is you get like the whole opening scene. You get more character out of Zavala, Cade, Ikora, and all the other characters that are on that tower.
Good.
And all working together to help you get onto the enemy ship to stop them.
Good. That's good to see.
Don't know if you do or not, because at the very end of you fighting through that ship, you run into the boss, the guy that Cade calls Gary. I don't remember his name. I think his name's Gore or something like that. But I
like Gary better.
Yeah, I like Gary, and and then you get stomped into the ground by Gary, and that's the end of that. And they show you all the new abilities you have. So if you're a fan of like Captain America, you might want to play this game. Because the Titan's new ability is essentially a void energy shield that he can throw. And it ricochets. He's pretty much Captain America now.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
And then...
Well, I just want to see if they do address having a little bit more meat in it. But everything else about Destiny 1 was fine. I had no problem.
They addressed that in that conference. They pretty much talked about how you're not going to just be doing the patrols. The patrols are going to be there. You know, the little things you do on planet. They did a lot of quality of life changes. You don't have to go to orbit to go from one location to the next.
Oh, that's
you
nice.
just pull up a map and just pick where you need to go. And it takes... And they did something called lost sectors. They're lost areas of every planet you're on. You need to find. They're pretty much like mini dungeons with bosses at the end. And then they have something called I think they called it essentially to like adventures. You run into NPCs that give you quests. They're side quests and missions to go do stuff.
It'll be interesting to see if this game does improve upon the previous one.
From everything they did in that announcement, it sounds like they're improving on everything, because they're also bringing in clans, your ability to make your own clan flag, motto, and matchmaking for the raid and all that stuff like that. Because beforehand you couldn't matchmake for a raid, because their whole idea of it beforehand was you need to know the people on your team. You need to be able to coordinate with them, because the raid is something that is next level. But
that's understandable, but it's probably a bad decision.
It was a bad decision.
I think because this is what WoW did. They made matchmaking for their raids, but you could also do it as a group. So they made several difficulty levels. If you're matchmaking, it's kind of at the lowest level, because obviously there's not going to be that coordination.
Right.
And then if you had all the people that could do it, it's a little bit harder. And then if you're equipped for it, you can do the
And it's funny you mentioned Blizzard when we're talking about Destiny, because they actually, Battle.net just picked up the PC networking for Destiny 2. So.
Well, not just for the PC, but also for...
No, it's PC only.
Is it PC only? I thought it was for the console.
I saw the Blizzard post.
Well, still, like, they're going to be the ones handling that, which is pretty cool. They also they improved on the clan system. They also did a lot of quality of life changes. Like, you can now see when public events are happening and where they're happening and how long they are in the map. I believe they're going to be putting all the lore in game, so you don't have to go to their site to look at all the Grimoire cards.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah, and
I didn't even do it. It was so dumb. I was like,
but it.
So you played more. I played the beta, and that's it.
So the game, from what they presented, they gave us a lot compared to what they did for the first one. The first one, it was the trailer, a little bit of information, that's it. This one, they gave us pretty much what seems like the first half of the first mission, almost, and all the information we've been asking about. There's still a few things they didn't answer on, but that will come with time. But the bigger things that we had issues with were addressed as far as people that were part of that community. So I'm actually kind of excited. I'm Roa being the negative one, I guess, out of our team. He just says, just watch in 2 weeks they're going to push it back to March of next year. Because that's what they did with 1.
Hey,
speaking of which,
look, I don't have a problem with delaying the game if it means the game is better.
Right.
Persona 5 may be 3 years late, but it is the most technically complete game I've ever played.
Right.
So,
and mind you, pushing something back isn't, like you said, isn't a bad thing. So,
speaking of which, they pushed back Red Dead 2 to spring of next year.
Yep.
Awesome!
But
guess what? The top 2 choices for Game of the Year for 2017 are. I'm calling it now.
I was like, that made Game of the Year for you, probably me.
It's gonna make the choice a lot easier because they're all already out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's a thing. Also, Nintendo had their Nintendo Direct. I don't know what it was.
I heard about it. I didn't see what was
it was a lot of information on ARMS and Splatoon.
Yeah.
I think maybe a couple other games. Those are the only 2 I paid attention to. Splatoon 2, they released a lot of information. The campaign and all that stuff was really cool. ARMS, they released a lot of new characters, weapons, modes, everything like that. It looks... At first I was like, oh, that seems cool. Not sure if it's cool enough to warrant a full price of the game. Now I'm like, oh, okay, it has a lot of characters, a lot of customizable options, a lot of modes.
Yeah.
Online play is still kind of... Nintendo apparently still does not know how to do online play.
They don't know how to do a lot of things. Like market their product.
Yeah, but I'm excited
or produce and sell their product.
You gotta love that understock.
So that looks... Those 2 games look really cool. They did that. They had a couple other things. Apparently, they're gonna make a Zelda mobile game. I don't know. Yeah. There's a couple other news. Let me see if I have anything else written down.
Well, while you're checking that, I've got something for you here. Mass Effect is dead.
Is it?
It is destroyed.
Like they're not going to continue?
Let me tell you exactly what happened. As a result of the pile that was Mass Effect Andromeda, the team at BioWare Montreal has been disbanded.
Wow.
And sent to other projects, or otherwise just no longer there. And the franchise has been indefinitely shelved. Mass Effect is dead.
Wow.
And if we get it back, it's going to be from another team at BioWare or some other EA team, and it's going to be completely different, and we will not be expecting that to be the same thing. But Mass Effect is, for all intents and purposes, dead.
That's a shame.
It's not a shame, because 1 was good, 2 was good, 3 was good until it dropped the ball right at the very end, and then they released a piece of absolute shit.
Yeah.
So
from all I've heard, is 4 is really, really, especially since 1, 2, and 3 up until the end set the bar so high. 1 is one of the best RPGs I've ever played. I guess you can say action RPG, whatever you want to call it. That game had so much story to it and everything. Those 3 games set that franchise so high, and then they come out with this huge disappointment in 4. It's just,
yeah,
you know, it happens.
Oh well, yeah. Franchise is dead.
Yeah, I mean,
that's alright. BioWare will live. They have other stuff they're working on.
Dragon Age, I believe they just.
Yeah. There's 3 branches of BioWare. One of them is actually in Austin. Austin handles completely Old Republic.
Yeah.
MMO. Montreal obviously was on Mass Effect. I don't know where the other branch is, and I don't know what they do. Probably Dragon Age.
Yeah, I think they just kind of leaked or teased a 4th Dragon Age game.
Well, okay. Well, then that team. I'll bet you anything. The team from Montreal just got disbanded and moved to that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Be prepared for weird. I don't know. Does the new Dragon Age have a different engine? What did it use before? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll have to look into that, because it was a really bad decision to move a established franchise to a new engine and have to start from scratch because you can't use anything from the other one.
I think Dragon Age 1 used the same type of.
I feel like it's
whatever KOTOR used. It was KOTOR but fantasy. That's all it was.
You got me on that. I never played Dragon Age. I've never played Mass Effect, so I have no opinion.
You should play Mass Effect.
Yeah,
I have 1, 2, and 3 there on the shelf. You should actually take that with you or something.
What else? I mean, Overwatch Anniversary Event is going to be out by the time this is released.
Yep.
And so I'm excited for that one. They
have a lot of teasers for what's coming with that. They've shown some skins. They've shown some emotes. They've shown some
acting,
voice lines. All of it looks pretty fun.
Cool maps. I don't know what.
I really like how Blizzard's really or at least that team is just embracing the meme culture. That
yes, I love it.
They're so in on it.
I kind of flipped out when I heard the voice line. I was like, "I'm not your dad."
Yeah. That
was so good. I was like,
the part when they released the anniversary video that they did as sort of a thank you to the fans or whatever. The part that made me lose it, and I watched this at work, is when you see the no budget cosplay Symmetra dude. That dude, he does a lot of no budget, like some really, really bad looking, hilarious cosplays of whatever you can think of. Yeah. I'll pull up some memes for you after this, but in that video, it has one of him doing Symmetra, which is one of my favorite that he's done, and it's in the video. It's just right there, center frame. I'm just like, oh my god, and I lost it. I was at work.
It was pretty good. But yeah.
Anybody else got some newses?
Back to Nintendo. I think they have the first bundle with Splatoon. Nice. I think Splatoon is going to be a bundle. Splatoon 2 is going to be a bundle.
I saw that the Splatoon bundle might be Japan only.
Oh fuck!
I think I saw that. Don't quote me on that, but I believe I saw that.
I know with Splatoon, I think it's probably Japan only. They're coming out with pink and green.
Maybe it was that.
Joy-Cons as well as a bunch of other stuff. Some cool amiibo, new amiibos and everything like that. So it's probably going to be Japan only because we only get basic, stupid stuff.
So what you're telling me is to Japan, we're just basic bitches.
Yeah. Like the 3DS, the new 3DS, I believe there's only a handful of colors here in the States.
Yeah.
And everything. Yeah,
anyway. Am I the only one that wants to get the new 2DS XL?
I do as well, honestly.
Like, it looks really cool.
Because I don't use the 3D.
I don't either. That's kind of why I want it.
It does look pretty good. And it's cheap. So if you don't have a 3DS, if you do not have that portable system or any version of it, get that one because that's a good price for a pretty good library.
Yeah.
And I'm actually someone that does not like mobile console type platform things, and I'm saying get it because that's a good price with a good library.
It took a while to get a good library, but it has a good library.
Yeah.
Because it didn't launch with that many games.
No, I didn't. But I mean, a lot of stuff has come out for it that's really good.
Really good.
Speaking of which, I wanted to make a recommendation, especially to you. I don't know if you've played Ghost Trick.
No.
It's a game that came out back in 2010 for the DS.
Mm-hmm.
Play it. It's good.
I'd like to make a recommendation as well. Have you played Trick Ghost? It's just playing.
Pretty much, you're a dead guy, and you have to keep people from being killed as a ghost, and you can only travel through objects, and you have a time limit for you to solve the puzzle that
sounds cool.
Preventing someone's death. It is really cool. I think I have it in my bag in the car. I think. If you want to check it out, because it's a really cool game.
I know my 3DS has Animal Crossing in it right now, so I'm playing that a lot again.
I don't even want to touch my Animal Crossing. I have not touched it.
I looked at the time played on my 3DS because you can look at Animal Crossing is about 400 hours.
Oh God,
Jesus,
that's intense. All right.
It is.
So, anybody else got some quick news for us? Yes.
I farted.
There's been a couple trailers that came out. Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah,
I finally saw that one.
Blade Runner. Or Blade Runner, whatever.
Apparently, some critics have already seen it of Wonder Woman and have said that it's the best movie DC's put out so far.
That's promising.
That is promising, but the bar isn't very high. So to beat that isn't very much. It could be an okay movie and still be the best movie they put out.
As soon as you said "but," I was like, I know exactly what he's gonna say because I just realized that exact same thing.
Yeah,
the bar is literally step so over. You don't have to jump or anything. That is very true. And the new ones, because obviously you had Batman, the Dark Knight, what those are.
Yeah.
Those are old DC. I don't know because
it's before DC decided to do their thing.
Yeah,
like they're combined.
It was the last one, but like immediately after they decided that they were gonna reboot Batman by doing that whole thing. So
it's their
Nolanverse was the end of all DC movies.
Yeah, and Nolanverse, like Christopher Nolan said it that it has nothing to do with any of the other movies.
Yeah,
does not tie into it. It's his own thing.
It's going to be the best one with the DC extended combined universe, whatever you want to call it, because Man of Steel was
like it made sense. I dug it because he's young, he's fresh at it, he can brood a little bit. That's fine. It was until Batman v Superman happened, and he's still like that. It's just like, why?
There's a lot I can go on Batman v Superman for a while. Yeah. Anyways. So that's the news. That's the news. That's what we thought was cool.
So time to talk about the topic of discussion thing that we have today, where we talk about a thing and we stay on topic.
I don't even know where to start. I think we brought this topic up because a tournament that we kind of followed, a guy cheated. Blatantly
on camera,
and I was discussing with our friend Hunter, and the tournament
they didn't really take a whole lot of action.
They didn't took any action. They didn't give him a loss on that game.
No, they gave him a loss on the following game.
Okay, here's the deal. They didn't give him a loss on that game because it already happened, and basically, we were under discussion that, hey, the software that they use wouldn't allow it, so they need new software. Don't know why the person was still in the tournament for the rest of that, because my view is that if you cheat at something blatantly, like you mean to cheat, you should get kicked out. Banned, kicked out, whatever.
So what I heard the problem was is that they discovered. Let's discuss what the actual issue is. Yeah. We're talking about an X-Wing tournament where a player made a very obvious cheating maneuver. What was the thing
he changed his dial.
Just changed the dial. Basically the way the game works is you preset the dial before anything's actually moved, and apparently in the middle of the game when he saw what his opponent was doing, he changed that maneuver dial to better react to what was actually happening in real time. Yeah. Very illegal. So, this was, from my understanding of what happened during that tournament, it was a on-camera match. It was captured on stream. Watchers of the stream were also calling it out as it was happening. Yeah. However, that information just never made it to a judge or anything until after that match had been completed, and until they were already in progress of the next round of matches. Which is why I think, as I understood what happened, they gave him a loss for that secondary match, and I don't think that was right, because if you have the obvious evidence that he did cheat in that previous match, you should probably just pull him from that other one and go ahead. We can't stop all the other rounds, so just give his opponent a win for that one or a bye or something.
I think what happened was once they put the information of basically the outcome from all the matches, they couldn't go back in and adjust them because they didn't catch it or they didn't realize it until after the match was complete. So they put all the information in the thing, and then it pops out, your next opponent should be this, because obviously you win, you have to play someone.
And I know that the software that they're using is you put in the results, it's done. Yeah. It's going to give you the new listings for the following round. You can re-roll the listings, the pairings for that round, but you can't change the previous results. Yeah. So it's an issue where that software just wouldn't have allowed them to really fix the situation, because by having the results in there, he had his opponent who had been cheated against received a loss, and they could not fix that. Yeah. There was no way for them to be able to fix it.
Yeah. It was just
So it's really a software issue, but it's also a tournament judging or organizing issue because there really was not a way that they were just not quick enough to be able to catch it and react to it.
And the guy should have...
He should have gotten pulled off the floor.
Well, he should have been pulled off the floor, He should have... Oh, especially after it came out, okay, I got caught and just left. At that point,
But you're going on the pretense that people are actually good in this world.
I mean, I've accidentally, when I played Magic, accidentally draw 2 cards on top. Oh, crap. Pick one out, whatever. Or accidentally cheat on that, read the rules wrong, played it differently, not intentional, and I was like, oh, I didn't mean to do that.
But for that, there's a lot of there's give for that because it's accidental. It's not like something you didn't.
We've all played an X-Wing tournament. That game is very hands-on, and so you accidentally bump stuff, you accidentally do stuff,
but you don't accidentally flip over or grab your dial, spin it to a different move, and then put it back down without your opponents noticing or whatever. Probably the worst part about that was that the tournament organization, or actually the level above that, just put out a statement and said we felt that the right action was taken on this, as there wasn't any ill intent on that. It was obviously ill intent. But they just had to stand by the decisions that were made because there was no way that they can be remedied with the current system. However, that's really what brought us to the topic, but it's not really related to the topic because that's blatant cheating. What we want to talk about is something that's pretty much within the realm of the rules. There's no rule against doing that. You can do that if you want, but is it a dirty move? Or is it just smart thinking? My dad did this to me one time. Actually, we were playing. What is it, the Daytona racing thing that you see at the arcade? And when there's like 4 of them lined up, we were at an arcade and we were doing the race. A bunch of other people. Me and him were actually 1 and 2 going towards the end of the race here. He puts me in the wall, and I'm like, "What's wrong with you? That's dirty driving. You're being a piece of whatever."
Yeah.
And I'm getting on his case, and he just, without missing a beat, just turns to me, looks, and says, "That's not dirty. That's championship driving."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh God, I've actually heard that term before." And it's like, this does relate to the topic because it's.
Yeah.
Is it malicious? Is it dirty? Is it cheap? Or is it just putting yourself in the position to win? In that situation, in real life, you can actually put somebody in danger, possibly injure them, possibly kill them. So that is probably a dirty move. And I wouldn't say championship racing. However, we were playing our arcade version of it, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is kind of like go over different cases and just...
I have a few. I played Warhammer quite a bit from a few editions, at least 2 or 3 editions, and the latest edition that I played, not the latest one that's out, there was a few maneuvers that you can do. Basically is your opponent's unit would charge, and you would flee, and then they could redirect to another unit, and in that unit you flee, and it's automatically failed, even if they were only 2 inches apart. Because you roll the dice, and that's how much you charge. So basically, you kind of abuse the rules.
It's abusing sort of a loophole in the way that certain mechanics of the game are built, where you could automatically get
as soon as a second unit, because you can't just keep redirecting. So as soon as you redirect once and they fail it, because obviously that unit's out of range, it's an automatic fail. No matter what you roll, it's an automatic fail.
So instances of that, like where it's you finding a loophole in this design, in this mechanic, in the design of the game. Would you call that dirty play? Would you call that just smart playing? Like it's in the rules. I can do that. I'm going to do it.
I think it's smart playing, especially again in that game. It used to be where you couldn't pre-measure, and so you would shoot everything. You would kind of pre-measure your own units, the distances, and kind of use that as a gate, or
as a guide.
Shoot all those even though you know they're in range, take out that rule. Say, I want to measure how close I am.
Yeah, and
then do that one, and then you use all your other. In that same game, you get the war machines that you used were guess range. I want to shoot X amount of inches, and so you have a unit right in front of you. That's 3 inches in front of you.
I'm gonna shoot 9 inches.
Yeah, and you shoot. They are in range or they're not in range. So you measure with them. Oh, you're 18 inches away. Oh, I want to shoot 18 inches because you know it's gonna hit.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple that's kind of that's more dirty than the other thing that I mentioned, because the other thing was kind of just a tactic you can use. That one is abusing the rules.
Right.
At tabletop gaming, there's a lot of it kind of abusing the rules, because
when you release the game, the game is printed, and in order for you to patch something out or change a rule set, you either have to errata it and release an FAQ that says this is the actual ruling for that, and you have to trust that everyone's going to look online or print them out and bring them with them to the tournament and actually follow the rules, or even just know them, or just release a whole new edition and redo the rules or reprint the rules. That second one costs a lot of money, and that first one's not always effective.
Yeah.
Right. And it's also like with Super Smash Bros. Melee, when you realize if you hang on the ledge, they can't get on.
Yeah.
Take them off.
Yeah.
So that's another case in point right there. And it's weird because when you do something like that, that's okay even on tournament level to do, because that was ruled as, well, that's just how the game works.
Exactly. So a lot of these things, sometimes they just come down to that's the way it is in the game. And that's the way it works. But then you mentioned Melee, and I mentioned previously before that how you can patch a tabletop game. You can't patch Melee.
Yeah.
Because that was a system that was not online. There was no way to patch it.
They would have had to literally release an update file.
They'd have to re-release the game.
Yeah.
That was the only way you could really do it, because the game ran off the disc entirely.
Yeah, that's true.
So, is if we kind of draw the line at is it dirty or is it just smart, at it being part of the game and just the way the game works, then how do we then treat it where this is something we can errata or we can patch later, or this is the end result of this is the end state of the game?
Because I think with Melee they tried to get people to not do that, but everybody did it.
I mean, I don't see that as being dirty. I think that's just using your environment. I think dirty is more. We used to play Super Smash Brothers, the normal one, and we had a friend that would just spam the same move over and over again.
That's cheesing. That's just. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Or kicking the person next to you.
He would just do the down A or whatever from one character, and he would just do the same thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. We eventually figured out how to kind of counter it, but I think that's just a cheesy way to play. It's not necessarily.
Move spam has never been dirty because there's always a way to get around it, unless the move is designed to be broken. And then you come back to the question. I think for me, the answer a lot of times is that the line is can it be patched later? Mm-hmm. Oh, it can't. This is the end result of the game. Well, then that's just the way the game works. Yeah. So hanging on the ledge in Melee is totally free game. Not dirty, smart play. Oh, this is a busted move with a ton of iframes, and you're not. It's completely safe. You can't be punished. You can't be countered whenever you're doing this, and you're spamming this move. You're invulnerable.
Yeah.
Okay, that needs to be patched out because I know this can be patched, and that's dirty to just keep spamming that.
Now, staying on Smash, just because we just talked about this. Having a broken controller to let you do something that normally you wouldn't be able to do.
There's a whole discussion on that can be a whole discussion, because now we come to is it
equipment?
Is it fair to bring your own equipment to the tournament? Is that actually smart and wise for them to do? Because
technically a broken controller is technically a modded controller for you if it works in your benefit, and that shouldn't be a thing.
Exactly. But tell that now to the entire FGC who can't bring their own arcade stick that they spent $300 customizing and making work just right for their playstyle.
No, they can't bring their own.
They can't do. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But what do you mean by make it work for their playstyle? Like to customize the way how the buttons work, just like the layout,
the sensitivity of the buttons. You know how like sometimes they're stiff.
Button mapping's done within the game.
Yeah, well, not
but
just
the actual hardware that you're using
is
different depending on the company. The actual gate on a controls on a fight stick, the one that they use can be different. It can be an 8 gate, it can be a 6, a 5. Just they want it to lock in this position a lot easier because they need to be able to hold down back a lot. Or I don't use charge moves or anything like that. I just need 1, 2, 3, 4 and a neutral position or something like that.
See, to me that doesn't sound right. Granted, I don't play fighting games, but to me that doesn't sound right. That it should be. If you need to be able to lock into that down tilt or whatever,
then you just need to know in that circle fixture where it is.
Yeah, you just kind of need to figure it out.
I think I think
that's painful.
I know that sounds painful.
That's painful.
I think equipment wise, everyone should be
even.
Yes.
So there's a whole discussion on should they even allow that in competitive gaming? Should it all be the same equipment? Should the tournament organizer be providing 600,000 GameCube controllers is fresh out of a package or something like that for their Melee tournament? Here's this straight off the factory arcade stick that both of you are going to be here's 2 of them at this station that you're going to be using for this tournament, which is insane to think about because these tournaments are massive or can be massive. A lot of the huge ones are EVO's like 1,500 players for one game, and it's 6 games that are actually part of the tournament, and us not counting just side tournaments. So it's
because in a sense you say everybody has to use the same thing. We used to do the Pinewood Derby cars, instead of just racing once, we would race 3 times in each track, to make sure everything is even. Everyone had the opportunity to race in a different track, all of them the same. So I think everybody should be. I think there should be. Everybody uses the same type of controller. I don't think you should be able to bring your own. I feel that.
See, but now we're talking about if you want to go back to what we were talking about with that Melee situation with the busted controller, that's 1 in 50 factory-made controllers that might have that issue. You could still end up with one of the controllers.
That's true.
You are not always going to have the same experience with the controller that whenever you buy it.
Well, it's a one-on-one, right?
Yeah, fighting games are one-on-one.
So, couldn't they do a best 2 out of 3 or whatever and then switch controllers? Like, I'm saying, to keep it even, and in a sense as far as a tournament, you play one match, you have 2 controllers up there, you play one match. Whoever wins, whatever, and then switch controllers.
But logistically, how would you do that with a 1,500 person tournament?
No. I'm not saying it's possible. I'm saying in the game,
it's the ideal situation.
Yeah, in the ideal situation.
I do agree with that, but it's just like it's.
Which is why I understand why they're allowed to take their own stuff because providing all that is expensive.
Yeah, you would never be able to get the funding to actually provide 1,500 whatever.
But maybe
fight sticks.
Maybe there should be some sort of like rules and regulation of what is allowed and what isn't.
I'm assuming there would be some type of
inspection. There needs to be like an inspection of the controllers, where they sit there for 5-10 minutes and play with the controller to see if it works properly.
Hell, there probably could be one that we just don't even know about.
Yeah.
I mean, for most controllers, it's going to be. Do you have a turbo button?
Yeah.
That's a lot of times that's what it is.
Or I guess a preset move button. So you just hit this button, it does this move. Kind of like a what am I trying to say?
Kind of like what you could do in Soul Calibur. You could map.
But then we go back to, is it built in the game?
Yeah.
Because in Soul Calibur, you can just map it to one button and it does this 3-button combination.
I didn't know that. Because I know in WoW you could kind of string together kind of code of do this, then this. If this is proc, do this and this, and you just hit this button, and it's a string of commands, and it's like, if this is happening, do this. If this is happening, do that.
Yeah, it was all third party stuff.
And you just can just spam that button, and it would literally do your cycle of moves. You know, you do this move, this move, this move, where you can map that to one button, and it would, if this is proc, do this. If it's not proc, do this. If this is proc,
and that brings up the question: is like, then are you even really playing the game then? At that point,
yeah, you're playing Final Fantasy 12, where you have the gamut system.
Final Hallway.
12? No, that's 13.
13. I'm sorry.
12 is the open world one.
Oh, that's right. But
which, oddly enough, has its own. Yeah, it's the most like completely scripted fighting system I've seen like ever.
But I don't know. It seems odd that they would allow stuff like that because.
See, I don't have a problem.
I'm talking about macros. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with. I do think I have a problem with macros because it's like you're not playing. It's the turbo button. You're not doing anything.
Yeah.
You're having the game play the game for you.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything.
I did that. I did that while I had a mage,
but I don't think that commonly comes up in any really competitive scene. Like, yeah, you can join, like you can get in guilds or whatever in WoW and go against each other, but that's never really for anything.
Yeah. Well,
except
they do
stuff inside the game.
They do arenas now. It's actually really big now. They do the 3-on-3 arenas, and it's PvP, so it's player versus player. And I don't know if they allow macros or anything. I would
think not, because that could definitely break some stuff.
But it's basically doing. It's pretty much taking the movement of hitting those buttons, the mouse or the mapping of the keys, and just putting it into one key.
Which is cheating.
I think they allow macros.
That's stupid. I think that's stupid. Macros are definitely on the dirty and no, you're a terrible piece of crap side of things for me.
Because I had it as a mage, when I would raid, it would just be, hit this button and it would do all my basically rotation of my mage. I did this, and then this happened. I did this, and this happened. I did that.
It's for PvP. That's a big no-no for me, because that is giving you a huge competitive advantage over someone who does not have it.
Yeah, I don't know if they allow it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like in that kind of situation, a macro for a PvP situation is.
I mean, you can do it in the arenas. I don't think they allow it in. I'm not sure if they allow it in the actual sponsored tournaments or whatever.
Yeah, hardware, just because the logistic thing, I would say it's fine. I don't see a problem with it.
It still seems like you get the person gets just a little bit of a.
I don't know if it's really an advantage, because it is. Why do you think it might be an advantage?
Because if it's easier for somebody to pull into a like a back for a block or something, they would be able to block something that they normally wouldn't be able to.
Okay, but Luffy won the SF4 tournament not too long ago with a PS1 pad, a PS1 regular controller.
Now let's go away from that and actually do online tournaments. Not everybody has the same computer. There's online tournaments.
Right.
And so
you're right there, because if you've ever played KI on PC, well, I'm not sure if you have, if your system is not strong, you are going to have some trouble with all kinds of things on that game. Like me playing Hector, who has a slightly better computer than me, was a nightmare. Like me trying to actually get anything done on that, because there was some lag going on and it was not fun.
I mean, so if you do online tournaments, because there's our big online tournaments, Overwatch, they do their thing.
Yeah, and that's why if you have anything that's not first-party software on there, that's I don't care what it does, it is an unfair advantage.
Yeah, and then hardware, it could still be a disadvantage. Shit, your internet could be a disadvantage.
Then you just have to have good enough internet to play online, which is not hard to do. For hardware, anybody at that tier probably has the same enough gear, and it's more of what you want in your play style. If you want lower sensitivity for more refined movement, or if you want higher sensitivity for that other kind of craziness that you do, then that's a preferential thing. I really don't think that there's much that hardware brings into it for that type of stuff. I think it's a lot of software and soft coding kind of stuff.
Well, it's interesting that you brought up that guy won with the PS1 controller. Because I would think that would be like a disadvantage for him.
It's a huge disadvantage, because you want to know the fun fact about that?
What?
The adapter that he was using later got banned because it had a 1-frame delay on inputs.
Really?
That means everything he was doing was coming out 1 frame later than what his opponent was doing.
But that sounds like it's a disadvantage.
It's a huge disadvantage, and he won.
So he was good at predicting.
He was good at just
So going away from video games, we talk about that. What about? I don't even think this is in a spirit of competitive play. I used to play Magic, and
I hope you're going to say what I think you're going to say.
It got to the point. It is to the point right now. You kind of pay to win.
Oh, okay. This is just my problem with that type of game.
And then I think it's more of that type of game with the balance issues, because
that's a huge balance issue, which just means that the game inherently is bad for me.
Yeah. Because X-Wing, we play a lot of X-Wing, and that's our other competitive game.
You know what you're getting, you know where you can get it, you're not going to have that issue.
Yeah. And
as long as you can, I guess if you can get to that thing, and you can buy 3 of the packs that you need.
Right, and it's still kind of...
It does have that.
You could technically buy more and better stuff, because there are obviously better stuff
than junior 16-year-old or 12-year-old, little Tommy Pretty Pants, who just started playing a month ago and only has the core set and the Millennium Falcon expansion, and came with a pretty solid list, actually, because he almost beat you, but you have some Wave 9 stuff, and you just, after a couple rounds of, wow, this kid's actually putting in the work, and he might beat me. Oh, wait, I got better stuff.
Yeah.
Stomp.
And so, CCGs in general is at the point where you have to pay to have that deck, as opposed to have that.
Yeah, because I remember talking with people who played Magic who would refer to their deck as not by any name or not by any color, but how expensive their deck was.
Yeah,
and I'm like, there is a problem with this game if the main thing that you were talking about to describe this deck of cards that you are using in a competitive environment is how much it costs to make it, and you literally bought a certain thing that will give you a win or a competitive advantage against somebody who just did not have the kind of cash to put down on something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I think the most ones I do, if I ever do them, are the drafts, because I just think they're more fun, because it's random. Everybody's at random. You draft. Everybody's at the same advantage and disadvantage, as opposed to, oh, you dropped $600 on that deck. All right, I'll just pack up and go, because some people just don't have that money.
And you're right. And you're right. There is a problem with the whole pay and you have an advantage thing. If I were to jump online and play Battlegrounds with or against Drew, I would be at a severe disadvantage, because that guy has way more than 60 frames a second running that game, and a way easier time seeing anything with the monitor that he has, versus me maybe getting 60 frames and not having a great monitor. I can't see everything, and that game does rely on sight very heavily.
And I've watched him stream, and he starts shooting. I'm like, what is he?
I don't see what he's shooting at, because the stream doesn't even catch it. It's like, okay, I get that. That's.
What about paying? And back to video games, paying to. Because there are some games that you pay for stuff, and it's a lot of the times it's merely cosmetics. But there are games that you pay to get more of these.
I have to say again, it's inherently bad.
Yeah.
If you can have a competitive advantage by paying more, your game is bad and unbalanced.
Yeah.
So, you want to talk about something dirty that isn't video games or card games?
What?
So in football, this was after you had left the hometown, John, our varsity team decided to put Icy Hot on their gloves when they went out to play against a rival town, and we would literally swipe their arms and their necks when we could.
Ooh.
Yep. That's what they did. I didn't do that, but they did, and we won because of that.
And that is
so dirty.
Oh, I want to say that's dirty, but I don't know of anything that would any kind of rule violation that would actually be.
I say that's dirty because
the problem there's a problem now because football has an entire culture around it where you win.
Yeah.
You win at any cost, and then you get Tom Brady where you deflate footballs and shit. But it has an entire culture there where you just win.
I honestly think you can go to sports and have our own topic because sports in general, there's
all kinds of things you can do about that. I mean, you can talk for hours about the quarterback kneel itself.
Yeah,
I actually wrote that down because I figured at some point we would actually end up talking about sports or football, and it was just like. Fun fact about the quarterback kneel: before the big one that happened, the Miracle, the Meadowlands, the one I'm talking about. Philly wins the game because New York didn't kneel.
Yeah.
Before that game, it was unanimous decision that the quarterback kneel, which did exist, was an unsportsmanlike play.
Right.
And then that instance happened, and everybody flipped on that decision within a year.
Well, and a few years ago, they had a team was up by however many, and they were going to kneel the ball, but the other team was still
Tampa,
yeah. Was still there was no way they could win. They were down by 14 or whatever.
They did it 4 or 5 weeks in a row where they were losing and got kneeled on and they rushed.
And a lot of times it's just kind of kneel. It's kind of this is more of just we have to do it. But Tampa was still playing 100% and almost hurt somebody a few times.
It was before that game way back in '78. It was unsportsmanlike to do it.
Yeah.
And then it became unsportsmanlike to actually play against that play, and it's like. So, is it dirty or not?
It's one of those unwritten rules, especially in baseball. There's a lot of unwritten rules. You don't walk across the mound, yada yada. You don't. There's just a lot of unwritten rules. If someone hits a home run against you and kind of flips the bat, well, the next game, the unwritten rules that other pitcher's going to beam them. And it's like. It gets to the point where is that almost an assault because he's purposely doing that.
Yeah.
Throwing a 95-mile-an-hour fastball at somebody.
It hurts.
I mean, could you technically charge them with trying to hurt somebody? And then basketball, there's the hack a Shaq.
I love that because it works.
And it's not against the rules.
It's not against the rules, but it's pretty dingy.
And basically what that means is you purposely foul someone that's really bad at free throws.
It's just to get them to try a free throw and stop the progress. Yeah.
Only get 1 point, maybe 2, but most of the time 1 point or less. You get the ball back and can score a lot of points. It makes the game boring because it's just a lot of free throws, but it's a good tactic.
It's a smart strategy, but it's also kind of dingy.
Yeah. And
it's for me, I think really the line might be, can it be fixed, or is that just the way thing is? Can the rule be changed? Can it be patched? No, it can't. That's the end state. That's the way the game works. Or that's...
Well, they're thinking
really
about...
Just
they've changed that rule several times to get it where it's at right now. Because it used to be you can do whenever, and now if you foul like that with 2 minutes or less remaining in the quarter or something like that,
it's a technical or something.
You get the ball. You get one free throw and the ball back or something like that. And so it's not as good. Another thing is the intentional walk in baseball. Is that...
I don't have a problem with the intentional walk.
Okay.
Because that's them deciding, I'm going to throw an intentionally bad pitch and just walk this guy because I don't want to throw against him. That I have no problem with that. What about the intentional holding in football. Do you remember? This was last year. I think it was Ravens and Cincinnati.
Oh, it was Raiders.
Was it?
I think they held in the end zone.
It was basically, we're going to lose if we give them the ball even for a second and it's fourth down. Let's do a punt and just dance around in the end zone and blatantly hold everybody and keep them back for the entire length of the clock, which was more than 40 seconds or something like that.
Basically,
and
what
then
they're doing,
take the safety.
For 2
points because they needed 3 to win.
What they were going to do is because if you have an offensive penalty, you run 10 seconds off the clock too. A defensive penalty,
and you don't replay the down.
Defensive penalty, that's like you can't end on a defensive penalty, so you play it again 1 second. So basically, they had to punt, and what John said.
Sorry, not the you don't replay the down. You can end on an offensive penalty, but you can't end on a defensive penalty.
And so they were punting, and so they just got the ball and just kind of like ran backwards and blatantly held them until the clock was out, and then stepped out of bounds. And so they didn't give them the chance. So the opposing team could either accept the penalty, replay the down, or not accept it, get the safety, and the game was over.
It was totally abuse of the rules of the game and kind of dirty, but it wasn't illegal.
Yeah,
it's the same until they actually made the rule against
it. And still, it's the same as when the opposing team has a receiver that's open in the end zone, you don't want to give up the touchdown, so you pretty much tackle him.
Yeah,
pass interference.
Get the pass interference. Go ahead and give him the yardage, but we're going to stop on the next play.
Yeah, I mean it's more of you just don't want to get on the play. It's kind of dirty, but it's well within the rules.
Yeah.
They changed that rule.
Apparently, they did post that they're going to try and get the rule against it now.
Interesting.
But again, and maybe that's just my mindset also. But in football, there's a whole culture of you do anything to win. There's holding on every play.
Yeah.
We've known that forever. Everybody knows that forever. But there's a whole culture around that, and I think for almost all of these instances, it really is. Does the rule explicitly say you can't do it? Okay, it's fine to do it. Oh, wait, we can change the rule to do it?
Yeah.
They just changed the rule. Now it's dirty, but before it was okay.
And it's just abusing the rules. I mean, dirty in the sense of dirty playing is kind of, stepping on the guy's hands when getting up.
Sliding, that's dirty.
Sliding,
that's dirty.
Sliding spikes up. And they changed this rule a lot in baseball where a lot of times, to break up a double play, you wouldn't start your slide until you're on top of the base, pretty much. Now, if you do that, you're out. The person going first is out automatically. You have to start your slide before you reach the bag, and it has to be within the base, because a lot of people were pretty much sliding 3 feet off the bag and just hitting it with your hand to break up the play. Some guy broke his leg. 2 people broke his leg. Something happened. They just changed the rules.
Yeah, I mean, whenever it comes to you're putting somebody at risk intentionally, then we're talking that's dirty.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot more dirty play in sports as opposed to video games because there's nobody getting hurt.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, I mean, kneeling the ball, running the clock down, that's the same thing in that tournament that we watched,
running out the clock. I don't have a problem with running out the clock. Because it's something that you can do. There's not a rule against it.
You're not going to win fans.
You're not going to win fans, but you are going to win the game.
But you're going to win the game.
And probably some money.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of cheddar.
Just a little bit of cheddar.
I don't mind that at all.
Another question I have, and this jumps off of sports and back into not video games. This is tabletop, I think, exclusively. Intentional draws.
Oof. I
have a huge problem with intentional draws because it's not
now
you taking advantage of a rule of a game. It's taking advantage of a rule of a tournament of that game where you bypass playing the game entirely.
Now, intentional draws is meaning, hey, we're both 3-0. If we both draw, we get to the next round. Shake hands, game's over.
What they used to do in X-Wing before it was removed, and what they still do in Magic.
So
they don't even bother playing the game. They take the draw.
Now, could you still agree? It's like, all right, let's just fly around and not shoot.
Yeah, they could do that and still get the draw that way.
Yeah, there's people that actually did that.
Yeah, I know. There's still people, like, especially if I'm 3-0 and if I draw, all I have to do is draw. I'm at that point. It's kind of just like in boxing, and more of UFC. You're not really fighting. You're not fighting to win. You're fighting to win that round to beat them. You're fighting for the decision,
right?
As opposed to the other person who's kind of fighting to knock you out. That's the only way they can win.
Well, I don't have a problem in UFC or boxing for you going for the decision by just playing a little bit more defensively and making sure you get on a scorecard, because you're actually in there being a part of the competition. Yeah. You're actually fighting. You're actually there at risk of losing something.
Yeah.
But you completely bypassing the game.
Yeah.
You saying, we're just not going to play. We're going to take a draw on this and move to the next round without really taking any risk at all.
I don't like that. Now, I don't mind them saying, if I'm up 3-0, and if I just have to have a draw to get to the next round, I'm going to play way more defensively. The other opposing person is in the same situation. They'll probably see that same thing and be like, yeah, I'll do the same thing. And we just kind of basically
it's kind of like what happened when me and Hector played, where we played for 4 hours flying around each other.
Y'all were just bad.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna offend you there. Y'all were just bad that match. If y'all couldn't kill anything in freaking 3-4 hours.
No, I think we literally just flew the exact same way every time.
I think we both.
We couldn't.
I think you played Hunter, then I played Hunter, and then I played you.
Yeah, we got like 3 matches in here. Y'all guys took forever.
They come back. They have full beards and everything. That's how long. Yeah. I don't mind playing defensively and playing for the draw, but yeah, going up to the table, shaking hands. All right, we draw, and going to the next round. I don't like that. I don't like it, but I don't.
I think it's dirty to everyone that's doubles that you are cheating out.
Yeah,
because I've seen the situation where 2 players or 4 players or 3 tables worth of players intentional draw and take out somebody from having that possibility of being in the cut of that tournament.
How about this? I was in a pool tournament before. The person that I was playing, it was a double elimination, whatever. The person I was playing in the finals was my cousin. We're like, hey, you just want to split the pot? Yeah.
Collusion?
Yeah.
Talking collusion? Collusion's bad.
No, it was just like, hey, we were both fairly matched, and the pot was, it wasn't a lot of money. It was literally, I think it was like a 12-person tournament, whatever, $100 or so. It was like, hey, let's take 50-50. Okay, cool. We just split the thing. We just played for fun. I don't. Is that bad?
I think collusion's bad. I do think collusion is bad. I don't like intentional draws where you don't play the match. If you're gonna play the match and you're going for, if you're gonna play the match, don't go for a draw. Unless it's option between you, unless you're 65 minutes into the 75-minute X-Wing match, and your safe defensive option gets you the draw, and your aggressive action is a 90% chance of getting you a loss, then that's okay. Shoot for the draw, but you're in the game. You tried something.
Right. Well, what about like an Overwatch? If you guys just both sides of the team just don't want to play, and they agree to draw the game out.
There's no more draw anymore.
Yeah, there's still draws.
Yeah, you can still draw.
There's still draws.
You can draw.
You know what? You're right.
It's a double draw.
So is that wrong that they just want to draw out both teams?
There's still lots of draws. Not lots of draws. They reduce the amount of draws.
They severely reduce the amount of draws by giving it that 1/3 tick.
But it's still possible.
But
not on escorts, but on capture the point and hybrid maps, there's still draws.
But is that bad if everybody's agreed to it?
Well,
and it doesn't hurt anybody.
In that sense, as far as Overwatch tournaments, they used to go, okay, it's a draw. Someone still has to get the point, so then they do a tiebreaker map on one of the capture.
Yeah, in tournaments they're elimination, so somebody has to win regardless. So they have to keep going.
So they have to then play for that point. They go to a capture King of the Hill map, and whoever wins the best of one, it's not best of three. It's literally whoever wins this gets the point.
But if we're talking just you booted up Overwatch, you went into competitive yourself, you're not in the league, or there's no money on the line or anything like that, I don't care what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if we're talking this is a tournament, there's even so much as here's your certificate for winning the tournament thing. If that's anything like that on the line, collusion, mister.
The Anti-Collusion Task Force.
Yeah, Anti-Collusion Task Force. What, ATCTF? Active.
I don't know.
Active.
Yeah, that's not a good acronym. I don't like it. It's not an acronym because it doesn't spell anything. That's an initialism, whatever the word is. But it's not an acronym. Today you learned.
John,
today?
Till. Acronym. Hiya.
Today I learned something.
Apparently.
But yeah, again, I still kind of go back to the whole thing. Is that bad to use like Icy Hot, knowing that if you get that on your opponent's like arm in football or in anything, they're eventually going to swipe their face and it's going to...
It's bothersome. It's not
That's
an
dirty.
injury thing.
It's I think it's dirty.
It's dirty.
It's dirty. I think that's dirty.
That's the grayest of areas for me because that's so smart.
It is, right? That's why they did it against...
It's
they did it against Crystal.
Of course they did. You know what? No, when it is a blood rivalry, anything goes, alright?
So again, that's the point where if the rules, if what you're doing causes a change of the rules, it was dirty to begin with.
I will agree with that.
They changed the in basketball, kind of crowding somebody when they're shooting. They changed that to a foul because you have to give them spot to land. They changed a lot in football, a lot of stuff in football. And baseball, you can't slide feet first because... Or you can slide feet first. You can't slide spikes up pretty much because people get hurt. So if the rule that you're abusing changes because someone's getting injured, then that was dirty. It needed to be done.
Yeah.
And so basketball happens as far as like kneeling, giving people to land. As far as intentional fouling, you pretty much now have to say, hey, ref, I'm fouling them because the bigger players were getting jumped on by little smaller players. When Shaq gets fouled by Steve Nash or Allen Iverson back in the day.
Or what's his name intentionally stepped in Kawhi's way and caused them to kind of not move proper.
Yeah. They called that, I think. But anyways, so that they changed a lot of stuff like that. Football, obviously hitting people that
certain spots.
Or after something, or hitting the quarterback after the ball's left his hand.
Or without saying sorry.
No, yeah. Hitting a defensive player, which is super subjective to whoever the referee is.
Yeah.
We didn't even touch.
Sports are hard.
We didn't even touch college sports because I don't think that's.
Oh, it's because they're younger. They're little babies.
Little babies.
They're little babies, and they don't get paid.
I don't. Yeah, it's not that. It's just. I don't like watching college sports because it is...
Because they're little babies that don't get paid?
Whoever is the bigger school is usually...
Whoever had the fancy enough athletic facilities to support having everyone come to them.
Because...
9.5 times out of 10, that's the situation,
Yeah. So, this is going to a different sport. For powerlifting, there was a guy from a competing school that would show up to compete or at some of the same competitions I went to with our school, and his whole thing was to go through the locker room and slap and grab a handful of every guy's butt just to make everybody uncomfortable.
It's psychological warfare, man.
Yeah.
That's fair game.
I would think that's fair game, but he did that so much that we all got jaded to it.
Did you do it back?
No, we didn't do it back. It's
Why not?
He would walk in and do it like, oh, hey, Bill.
so that's another thing, like psychological, kind of.
Oh, I love head games, dude. Half of fighting games is head games.
Okay.
So
yeah, there was a guy from
that's before game or anything like that, or using.
There was a guy from Del Rio actually that I used to compete against. I can't remember his actual name, but he's a big guy. He was a real big guy. My dad used to call him the Tasmanian Devil because he had long hair. And
I think I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name, but I physically can.
You can see.
I can see him right now because I've seen him before.
Every single time I'd come out and be standing there waiting for them to get everything ready, and we're all waiting around. He'd walk up behind me. You ready to lose? And we just stand there for the entire time talking trash to each other. Come on, man. Come on, what's going on? A lesson towards one of us got fired up. I remember one time he came to a competition. He couldn't get his first lift on squat on the first event, and he bombed out. And I actually went to try to go talk to him, and then he proceeded to throw half the locker of that school's locker into the other locker. And I was like, go back outside. I don't want to get tossed around by this guy. Because I thought I was big. That dude was bigger than me. But yeah.
Sports are fun.
Yeah. I think I was about to say. Oh, just using... I mean, there's psychological warfare and all that, and getting into your opponent's head, but then the point where you either bring family into it, or...
I was actually about to bring
doing others... I don't know, kind of more of just...
even something that's something really passive aggressive, like talking let's say with that guy, his girlfriend was there, and I go over and start talking to her and get real chummy with her in front of him. That's a head game, but that's kind of mean.
Yeah,
that's kind of
real. I mean, that's kind of mean, but it has nothing to do with the actual competition.
Yeah, but
that's just psychological warfare, man.
I don't know. When does psychological warfare become an actual issue?
When it turns into freaking chemical warfare.
Well then, wait, does chemical warfare include crop dusting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're walking through the locker room and just after you ate some sick Chipotle or something and just ripping major ass in that locker room and just completely ruining everyone's just bodily functions, just not working. That's the smell of that's dirty.
That just reminded me of the that wrestling match between Eddie Guerrero and the Big Show. He made the Big Show. Basically, it was Eddie Guerrero was ordering food, and his cousin came in and delivered the food, so the Big Show ate it all, but it was bad food. And so in their match, 5 minutes in, the Big Show pretty much was like, and had to run out and got counted out, and so Eddie won.
First of all,
that's
lie,
funny.
cheat, and steal.
That's funny.
It's Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah,
so what do you expect?
That's Eddie.
And second of all, wrestling's fake, but we don't care about that because it's a show anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a legitimate thing, so. Oh.
That's still great, though. I forgot about that. That was good. Oh, man.
But they didn't change the rules because of him, so it's fair. It's smart play. You can't order food for your opponent 5 minutes before the match.
He didn't order for him. He knew that.
Whatever. You know what I mean, right?
Well, yeah, I think that's.
I think that's it for.
That about wraps it up.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. Fine.
That's what you get for saying that.
So we came to the conclusion that if the rule, what you're doing changes the way the rule is.
Yeah. If you did something that changes the rules, it was probably bad.
Yeah. No, it was bad.
If you did something in a game that got patched or FAQ'd or errata, probably bad.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't change the rule, do it.
Yeah.
And if it is against a bloody rivalry of
it's fair game.
It's all fair game. You can kick in the nuts all you want. Stick your finger into that prostate. Go for it.
All right, there you go. There's the quote from the podcast, and we're done.
Scene.
Woo!